example, I will be just for today and one more session, I will be just going through, I would say, how React Native works and what are the basic paradigms used in programming.
Okay.
Okay. So instead of going, I would say, how compiling on Android, I will be just showing you what are the paradigms used first of all, and how it has been in the access in the mobile as well.
Okay.
Okay. So these are the few things, if I say getting started from this here. So these are the things required, I would say, when we are moving for any kind of a development on Android or iOS.
Okay.
So I hope you have seen the same in the React as well. You
React, yes.
install,
Right,
yeah,
right, right.
right. I mean,
And
there you,
additionally, we need to install this Android kit, right?
yeah, Android Studio. I would say Android Studio.
Android Studio. Okay.
Yeah, Android Studio is required. You have to install the Android Studio. The Node
Mm.
versions are very dependent. Any
Mm.
less or higher versions might get conflicts in installing
Mm.
everything. So
Mm.
I am assuming that you have a brief idea what are props, what are state, how the React works,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So I will be just directly focusing about the how the basics are working in React Native. So there is a brief
Okay.
example I would show that you can see directly here only what are the changes we make in the code and how the code works for React Native. So if you
Mm.
could see that it is pretty much similar to uh, React. If you see, we try to make the same things
Right, right,
for
right.
default class, but in this case, we are using a React Native library.
Okay.
Okay, so as we take import React, the similar way we have to import the React Native library.
React
So
Native. Okay.
here you could see text view. We will be having ample of tags. These are basically tags used. If I talk in HTML sense, you are having div, you are having p tag, you are having span tag, right?
Right.
So they are default of HTML only. They are not from React.
Correct.
So React Native provides us the HTML tags similar to that only. But they are not
Okay.
HTML tags, they are the tags for React Native, which will be used in mobile.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So here is a view tag, here is a text tag. So if I talk simply, just don't go with the styling currently. So similarly, we are passing the things in, I would say. So here you see hello world on the top.
Yeah.
So it is JSX syntax only. We will be passing text. Here we cannot use, I would say, any kind of a p tag or div tag. We have to go with this syntax only, that if we want view or text or something, we need to write it in a view. In the div, you can write any text. You can also write text in view as well, but the preferred thing does not allow, because the versions have the variations. If you go few versions back in React Native, it will allow you to write in the view as well. But in the current version, it is not allowing. It says it cannot render. So it requires a text tag to write any kind of a text. So if you see any list view or something in the mobile, so we can either make our own list view, or we can use text or view in that. Okay. So now I will be showing a few more things. So you could see the text, as we increase the text, we can see the hello world here, right?
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
If the concept is same, we will be having the .js files only on the local machines. It will be, everything will be the same. The compilation thing I will be going when we will be having all the tags covered and all the things covered in the local scenario here on the browser itself. Because
Okay.
if I will be going on the simulator end at the Android Studio, it will take a lot of time to refresh. Then it will be streaming towards your service also. It will take a lot of time. Instead of making the things on the code basis, I will be showing you here. And then on the Android Studio, once we are done with everything.
Okay. So for the Android, yeah, I need to download Android Studio. For iOS, which is the one which I'll download?
So it's Xcode.
Xcode. Okay, fine.
Xcode.
Okay.
Okay.
So hold on. Let me make my nodes and then.
Yeah. So the Android one is for Android Studio, the latest version,
No.
and Xcode, the version I'm not aware currently which version we are using.
Okay.
Okay.
So Android Studio will be mapping to the Android version, and I need to check the iOS version and then download the Xcode, right?
Right. Okay. So can we move forward?
Yeah, one moment.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can move ahead.
Okay. So if you will just go through this, what's going on here, it is just a small explanation about the HTML tag and the React Native tags.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I mean, I'm just going through the native documents of the React Native only. I'm not going through anything new or something. I will just share the link if you want. It's the same link.
Yeah, please share me that link so that once the training is over, you can share me that link. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So this one, this contains both the. I can use it for Android and iOS. They are the same this one, right?
Yeah,
On
they have the both the things. You can use it for both. There are no
both.
changes in that.
Okay, fine.
I mean, the Facebook itself has given a very comprehensive things. You need not to go anywhere just to install even any kind of a code or something. It is very comprehensive in every aspect.
Okay.
Okay. So now moving towards, you must have heard about the props concept, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So props are generally, I would say, the properties that we are passing from a parent to a child component, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So currently here we are not using any kind of a prop. It's basically, I would say, a constant they have used and they have called it as a prop. So it's not a prop, I would say. It's just a let. It's a variable. So variable has been used here, and we are rendering the pic itself. So if you
Okay.
see, for rendering any image, we are having an image tag in this.
Okay.
So we have got the three tags. That is the view tag, that is the text tag, that is the image tag.
Okay.
So I would say if we are talking about in the terms of HTML, we are having div, span, p, and bold, strong, em. There are multiple tags.
Correct.
So I would say div and p, we can give the styling and they can have a same look. A user cannot, after looking at the UI of the web, the user cannot say whether this is a div tag or a p tag.
Correct.
So if we talk about React Native, we are having only two tags. One is the view tag. View is basically the container that's give the styling, the design. Text is also a container, but specific to the text.
Okay.
Okay. And image is specifically for image. If you go by the words, they are itself, I would say, more explanatory that we can use image as a, I would say, the tag, right? So if
Okay.
you see here, the things are quite similar as we are passing in the, I would say, React part.
Okay.
On styling, I'm not coming yet. Styling, I will be just coming in the slowly after this only, as we proceed. Just going with the tags currently. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So here, I would say they have shown a proper props, how the props has been used here. So here we are having a class greetings, and we are also having a class lots of greetings. So greeting is the component that has been used in the lots of greeting, I would say.
Okay.
So here you see this dot props dot name, and we can use it as this dot props dot name, and we are passing the name as Rexar. If you see, I will change it here to Niranjan, and the same will appear here. So it is taking as this dot props dot name. So this, if I talk about this code is basically, I would say, having a context of this.
Correct.
So we can make it as a functional component also here if you want. I will just show you. So here it is a functional component. Now you can have a look. There is no change. There is no this context here. We can directly make the same way as we are using it for the React, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope this is clear. This one is clear.
Yeah, this is clear.
Yeah. Okay. Now moving, I'm just giving a brief description. I hope when I will be sharing you the link, you will just go through the description. I mean, they are self-explanatory, which I have told you the things. It is having the same ones.
Yeah, more or less with in alignment with whatever the React session I have gone through. So this is the more or less. So when we come into the complete the Android, the particular compilation and everything, it will differ, right? So
Yeah.
that is where.
At that point of time, it will differ. When I will be coming for Android, it will differ.
Yeah, right.
And if you see, every window is having Expo. So this is pretty, I would say, a good thing React Native has provided. When I will be coming for Android, I will show that Expo is also a very useful library of React Native or framework of React Native. It is pretty useful for using if you want.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So now moving on to the concept of state. So here we have text, image, and view. We have gone through that. Now, if we talk about state, similarly, all the lifecycle methods which we have gone in React is quite similar. That is component did mount, and it is also having component will mount. And as the React has higher versions, the React Fiber has come into existence. Get derived state from props and the deprecated methods. Those, everything has been changed as we move forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this particular whatever the React Fiber and you are actually saying that one, right? So it has come in is it already for the new version.
I would say, see, it's 0.61. So it takes the latest stable version of React, whichever the stable version is there. I would say 16.6 something or 16.5, whichever the stable version it is available on the React, it takes that.
Okay.
So I would say it's currently the old methods are still there. They're not deprecated. You want, you can use them. But moving forward, whenever the version arises, there are chances that those methods get removed, and you have to move towards the new methods or new life cycles, which React provides.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So just a brief question on what this component will mount and render and component did mount, how it works. Could you just give me an idea? What is the concept behind that?
Mainly the did mount basically mounts the object. That is, it loads the object, and dispatch is mainly for dispatching this particular. You said the render or render,
I said
right?
render.
Rendering the object on the particular. It'll render that object to the. It is for the rendering the object, and the second thing, what is the third thing you said?
So I told component will mount. Component will mount.
Will mount.
Yeah. Never mind.
No.
You might have forgot or something. Might be. I
Yeah.
will just reframe how this life cycle works when it is React or React Native. So if you see, first of all, we are calling any kind of I would say, we are calling Blink here. If you could see, this Blink is, I would say, a class or a component. So whenever any kind of a component is called, it first of all we call the constructor in that. I hope that's a pretty normal thing. We are making a component, so automatically a constructor will be called. After constructor, we are having a lifecycle that is called component will mount. So it's the thing before rendering. So before rendering, what things we need to set, what state we need to set, what kind of a, I would say, data we require, we use component will mount for that.
Okay.
And after that, we have a render function. So that render function is basically, I would say, the showcasing the UI, showing the UI, showing the HTML, showing the tags. What are that? So that is the render function.
Okay.
And component data mount is something that where we can have any kind of a state manipulations or any kind of a, I would say, timers or subscriptions of stores, many things. There are multiple things we can have. So these are the things which have the initial phase of the lifecycle method in React or React Native, irrespective of that. Okay. So this is an example, I would say, for, if you see, after 1 second, the text is getting blink every time, blinking.
Right.
Right. So we are having a blink app and we are passing blink text. I love to blink. So if you see here in the blink component, we are having a default state as is showing text true. So for the time being, I just stop the set interval and set it to set timeout. So just for, so here it blinks only once and it's gone. If you see, okay. So default, when it is having a flag is show text, showing text. So if it is false, it will return null. And once it is true, it will return this thing, whichever text we pass. So this is the basic concept. When timeout is here, it is setting a state. So setting a state, you must have heard what setting a state is in React, right?
Right. Yeah.
So setting a state is something that makes your UI to re-render.
Correct.
So re-rendering is something, a concept on, I would say, diff algorithms of DOM structure. So what happens is that there is a change in your DOM node and that change needs to be reflected. So if we go with the normal flow of JavaScript, we have to make a lot of changes. We have to particularly find the address of that node and reach that node and then refresh the whole DOM tree. So React has just provided us a very good, I would say, architecture in that way, that it is having a virtual DOM and the real DOM. It checks that what are the changes in the real DOM and in the virtual DOM. So it only re-renders those changes and reflect those changes in the UI. Instead of re-rendering the whole DOM tree, it just re-renders that particular node.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the concept of, I would say, set state is working on that way.
Okay.
Moving forward, if we see in the earlier versions of React or React Native, they say that state management could be done by, I would say, an architectural framework that is Redux or MobX or GenX. There are multiple, I would say, state controllers. So we used to manage the state by Redux, Flux, MobX, GenX, multiple. They have the same concept as they are having the same concept in React. There is no change. We have a common store as in Redux we have the action dispatched. That action dispatch basically changes the state and re-renders the UI again. It has the same concept. So moving forward, many times in the training sessions, there are a lot of questions regarding why we need Redux when we are having a change mechanism in React itself. See, I mean, dispatching an action and changing the state, we can directly have it on click or on press. We can directly set state and change the state using set state method. Why do we need Redux? I mean, if we are having a possibility that we can use set state, then what is the requirement of Redux? So Redux is kind of, I would say, it manages the global state of the application. So you can use that state anywhere else in the whole application. See, if this blink text is having a state, you can use it only in the blink. If you want to use this is showing text in somewhere or the other component, you cannot use this state because it's only confined to blink.
Correct.
If you want to use it globally somewhere, we need Redux, Flux, or MobX, these kind of architectures, which manages the state globally of the whole application.
Okay.
Okay. So this is just, I would say, a brief on, I would say, just a Redux or something which you have learned, you have might gone through in the training for React.
Yeah.
Okay. Now moving on to the next, that is style. I mean, that is pretty interesting. It also plays a similar role as we are having in the CSS things. Only the nomenclature changes here.
Okay.
Okay. So if you see, we are having a object that is style sheet in the React Native. We have to create styles from that. So that style sheet is having a function create. And this create function, just give me a sec. I just need to, I would say, have some water. Just give me a sec.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we were here on the style sheet.
Right. Yeah.
So here you see that we are having a create function which create these styles, and these styles can be used as objects. We will go deeper in the same code only, and you will be able to see what I mean to say. So now here you see that we are passing a style to a text that styles red. So here you see that we are having a red class. It's kind of we can say it's a red class. And we are passing the color red as we are passing in CSS. There is no change. Right? If I want this, I would say this class just red to be bold. So here I can pass font weight bold. And font. So here you see all my, I would say, CSS of HTML we generally have, I would say, like this, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Here we have a camel casing for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it does not have any kind of a pixel or something.
Mm-hmm.
So here you see it's just red has been become. Font size
Right,
is 20. And if I go less, it will become less if you see. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So here, if we need to pass multiple styles, we pass it in an array this way, if you see. Styles.bigblue, then styles.red. If I want something, I would say background of this, I will just make a new style that is BG red. So here I will give background color yellow. And here I pass styles dot BG. I mean, I gave them wrong nomenclature. You can just say yellow here. So here you see.
Yeah.
So this is the same way we can have. So there are multiple styles, I would say, we are using here in this. We can have the width, we can have the height. There are multiple things. We will be just going in the next sessions. I mean, in the coming chapters only. Okay.
Okay. And one more thing is about the screen size, right?
Yeah, I will be coming. It is having. It will be having things.
Yeah.
Everything is there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Okay.